put salt, because we're starting to stir.
I need this.
We would have had all done about the building tax, so the board kids have been,
Yeah.
I've been, that's the building.
Yeah.
I've never had a reaction.
I usually don't get
This year I did.
got the rate. She made me, she does.
And I don't know whether you're gonna tell me he's gonna be
I'm just gonna call it Christmas.
good enough.
Because I
I don't either.
And now it's really, she does beautiful.
Sorry,
Yes,
Thank you.
well, these kind of stones or rocks or what?
Stone and
Gems.
Okay.
And she does beautiful.
And crystals.
And I'll give you
Perfect.
some. Tell me what, yeah, absolutely, perfectly. And I didn't get cash tonight, so.
Or is that?
I'll do that too.
I'm sure.
Anyway,
To give it to you.
Thanks.
yeah, so we had to pour out the energy and resources into the new building to get that functional at all. So it had some issues with that. And so then the security didn't get that. So I'm fighting freezing water and something in the roof.
Oh.
Guys got that taken care of.
Well, rodent issue.
Yeah, but they, and then we get into the crawl space. We have a vaulted ceiling in part of the addition. And so there's the vaulted ceiling, a little space for electrical and the around. And that's where they were. They weren't in our crawl space.
Huh.
I was like, guys, aren't you in Brandon to get into the crawl space where the
Oh,
real
sure.
insulation is?
Trying to get a plan.
So anyway, they were able to deal with it. So.
Yeah, because,
So,
I might, by the fire, might shut that one down. I actually shut it down yesterday. I drained, shut the well down.
so these are a farm acreage in the neighborhood. They just about.
I have, the house that I have,
Oh, sure.
Or it's coming down half a mile up the road, the neighbor guy died. 7 years ago, we, too much for his mom.
Oh, sure.
Really just sold out.
Have you met our gentleman? You want
I know, Greg.
to know this guy.
Troy Lee.
He's the one that runs the utilities in the city.
Oh, yeah?
So he's the one that knows everything.
You know,
Well,
every-
he's not Bernadine really does
Right,
everything.
yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, and kind of looking at.
Estimate for that, building of that monument.
3,000, okay. And can we get that, can I
Yeah,
get that
spread-
information
we
when
drove
we just
around
list
the house.
the names, the numbers? Yeah, for who it is or something. Like, oh, it's Brad Peterson, is he the one that did it?
Okay. So I think we need two processes.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
No.
Either that or we're gonna see on this front
Yours
and
was
do something else with it. What do you think?
Thank
The
you.
back is all.
On the, should I see garage, yeah, and then two was the. One.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
Huh?
if we
We're
have.
done anyway.
We didn't know, they, two of all had.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Should we get the difference? So, is,
Friday, that's what she said. Well, because they did
yeah.
Ah.
Mom called me and
Too bad, you know,
so if I can't get grants, my writers.
that's everything I need.
Because I don't need the grants for things like that. Not a legion, but we're not talking 3,000, we might be talking
Yeah, they.
a few hundred. 100,000. We should be able to get something.
Are you traveling?
We take off the.
Yeah,
No, but maybe we should.
Through agency or at agency?
Well, no, through the agency, but I'm at the agency contract.
I
We'll check and see. They don't.
Keep
Well,
moving.
yeah.
But I think she wants to go further away.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
it's
a-
not, it's now it's cracked up to be, you know, it's not in a hotel, it's, you know, yeah, I mean, it helps to make money, you know what I mean?
That needs to be moved to not be.
They give you a
but,
stipend.
Yeah.
It's nice when it's on, yeah, it's nice when it's on.
She's all in now.
Oh,
She's going in.
definitely need to stay on the right, but once I get
Yeah,
the new post
that'll
office.
probably enable.
It'll pay,
Bank,
it'll pay for
Yeah,
it.
so she
yeah.
can't see the RSP or. Well, see, I was just thinking that maybe we could do something
Yeah.
which is nice and not spend 3,000.
Okay.
Oh, that was just a little.
I thought, and let's
Got an eye on
keep that
what
and
wants
keep
to go.
looking at, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit ahead.
And where is he from?
What's weird is she was.
Matters. So, yeah, well, he's a bricklayer. Yeah.
Life has changed, you know.
That's what he does.
But
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
likes it.
But like you said, we could almost go to a monument
I'll tell
company
you what,
and
we're
get a
not meant to
headstone
be
for
out
it.
3:30 in the morning on a consistent basis.
You gotta know where to go and how to find them. My husband has been a caretaker of the cemetery for a long time.
I think we
You
can
gotta know where.
see if we can look at some options. I wish there would be more than just
Two
doing
sticks
that,
and
but
another
I'm
rat.
really happy to keep doing
No,
it.
we got some time.
Yeah. Everyone is spiffed up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna split up now? Say
What?
the rest of the time.
You know where the Legion building is right next to the parking lot, and then in front of that is a monument for the 19 fire. Fire, and it was a memorial for the fire. And it was pretty nice when we.
No,
built it.
he's not.
It's looking
He
good.
called and asked me to present
And
that
so
for
now
him.
it's.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Do I need
it was
him to
brick,
sign off on
and
that?
then a big plaque.
Did they call?
And it's a plaque, it's a good shape.
On that?
So it has all the
That
record
is a good
description of what happened,
contractor to call
who
it
died.
certain
He,
stages.
yeah, he did
Yeah,
go see it.
That's all
And
it's for.
since
Okay,
this
that's
whole
all
thing's
yours.
being built
Okay.
around that fire thing.
If you just want
Oh,
to
we really
know
were
the sightings,
because this is the 100-year anniversary. And we just need to look at some options because I know it's going to. But we need to, and the plaque itself, you can still sit and read it, and I think it's, Dave,
Yes.
was the plaque itself metal? Is that metal?
It's bronze or brass or something like that?
And it's in pretty good shape.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's just, and I wonder how easy that is to take off of it.
It just closes its shoes.
Okay, so that could be taken off.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so we wouldn't have to worry about that part. So it's when it's attached to that's important. Because right beside that, what is that little one right beside it, that little one?
That's the one that
Yeah, but is it just a cement block? I mean, how did they build that square like this, it's cement, and then it sits on top? That has to be, you know, the little one sitting right beside it.
continue working.
It's a little tiny.
Email.
It's
Still working, but that's still popping
Yeah,
up on
that's
the screen.
Huh?
Every time.
Footing
I just
and
keep
then
looking
it's
at it,
cemented
so
around it.
Okay.
it's still coming through.
Because that seems to hold up.
Strange.
Yeah.
That's more of a silver colored plaque on the top of that one. It's more of a silver colored plaque on that.
Yeah, but it's probably the same materials, maybe. Okay.
You wanna- I had it sitting right next to my phone.
Have you heard from Eddie? Is she out of the hospital?
I haven't heard anything.
I tried to call her yesterday. She didn't answer.
I need to take this right.
She was in the hospital, yeah, really bad. And I called her when she was in the hospital, but that's all, before I got up here, so that was a couple weeks ago, they took her to their emergency. Just about the, and breathing. Yeah, and then how's James?
At the end of the month, they're doing wound tests for them. Right now, they don't really know much.
Okay, because I know he was taking her in.
Yeah, I think they said the 28th. They had an appointment where they were.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
4 and 5.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the 28th.
I don't know what happened there.
What did you have?
Right there, the 2004 and 5, they didn't have a grand marshal or a municipal.
Well, they might have, they just may not. So that's what we're doing, these are all going to be remade.
Yeah.
And updated. And,
I'm tracking down this Kettle River.
so what we're going to do is go sit in this big office and so.
Talk to them.
So we're gonna go
stuck
through
his head,
ours.
and she said, yeah, you can just come in and ask what yours you want, and they're in big books, so we have to page through, so we're hoping we can find out.
To do a microfiche.
Missing people.
Yeah, okay.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't came forward, you know,
Yeah.
that, you know.
I
Well,
apparently there's a lot of people that really
there's somebody said that Ben Marshall
micro.
for 1 year was in memory of that. Knows that, but I don't know
So the Kettle River
if there was
Fire
somebody
Department,
else over there.
that's
who
what
was
they
kind of-
down the grade.
I don't know, but hopefully we'll.
Decent, or did he just? Yeah, it was one of his first days.
What's wrong? See,
Yeah.
they come out and have
Pretty thorough, you know, he got, principal, all the.
what, if you go around where the ballpark is, over there, I think you guys do just. Well, this past year, they dedicated the ballpark
This is
to
that census stuff.
fabulous, some legend, probably a legend of the water. Anyway, so they dedicated the park and they had this big sign. Well, if we get this moved out and not project more land, we can do this and then we'll give you guys the lease for, what do you want, 25, 30 years? How long do you think you can hang in? Anyway.
2.
But, anyway, I thought maybe it would be really nice to dedicate it to the people that donated to that. And have a sign put up, and the dedicated, their names were, and, anyway, you go, Jen.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
And I thought it'd be really nice, dedicated to have a sign, the guy who painted that sign is local guy.
Yeah.
And so we could have that same sign, but then we could have it,
Yep,
have it sponsored.
wherever you want,
Have it sponsored by you guys. You know, I mean, not you guys pay for it, but somehow, if you guys are gonna be regular.
I know.
Like we're hoping to do. I want it somehow where your name is on that plaque too. So it's, not sponsored because you're not sponsored, but you brought to you by, or I don't know, we can't.
donated by?
No, they're not donating it, but somewhere we want it to be done. Ed George something, but Bob, but he gets his name. Yeah,
Still in the sponsorship.
I suppose in a way you're sponsoring it, so that you guys at the same time give them that credit on that sign.
Get a little recognition.
Yeah, because I thought you guys, you should, we definitely need to give you guys the ownership of all the work you're doing. I got a, I didn't get, I did not get that call, I didn't get that. But we were out digging up vendors.
Okay.
And I came across this woman, and one of her from, she said, oh, my husband went and did all of the machinery, he does all of, he did all of the stuff we bought. She said, oh, yeah, he does all that, did all that, also got all that. And I'm thinking, well, we're just gonna say it, because I'm assuming we need a backhoe. Okay. And so I thought I was gonna call Kevin to see if that was there. Oh, I've got her name, I just need to know if, if that's something that he did in the past, you know, that's what I'm also getting. Oh, yeah, we usually do that, well, are you gonna sell it?
Right.
I don't care what
To
you
let
do.
them have that.
Yeah.
Wait till
Yeah.
close to the end.
So I'm gonna see.
See how many people for that. Price it, but I have to have it up there.
Type it out. I'll start going. This because I thought, I'm gonna call him, if not, I'm gonna have you guys call him.
Yeah, I didn't get what it said. I
So,
might be on.
maybe that's
It's
just
just,
what
I mean,
I'm
it's-
what equipment we
We're looking
Here it
at-
is. What's his name? He wants it, it's
Okay.
the Willow River. And I do have all of these numbers. So I was gonna call Kevin to see if that was something that, you know, got us down the makings. That may feel something.
No, that's why I was upset, but we're gonna have to talk to, Kevin.
Lester,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dean.
7 o'clock, call the meeting to order, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One and all to Kettle River City Council meeting. It appears that we have some guests here. Troy Lee. That's Troy Lee. Well, you're the Rut Riders, and you have the floor, apparently with some news from Mom and Pa requests. Go ahead.
Do you want that?
Yeah, if I could.
I think they should have it in their packets too, don't
The map?
Yeah, the map.
Yeah, you got the
we got
map.
it
Yep.
they? Yeah, so you.
So, I guess what we're looking for is, part of the mud bog, the pit is on, private property. And the beginning of the pit and the back of the pit is on city property. So we're trying to make a go, we're going to need to change the plan of the pit a little bit to accommodate the bigger trucks to bring more people in. And to do so, Mom and Pa doesn't have enough property of their own to accommodate the bigger trucks. So we are asking the city to hopefully, in this map that you guys have in your packet, to see if we can get the city to donate that piece of property to Mom and Pa. So when we do, then we can work within that circumference of the new property and backfill the old pit.
Okay. Question?
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. It actually does the city a favor by taking away liability myself. Apparently you guys have kind of taken the reins on the whole Mom and Pa deal to a certain extent. Can you explain what's going on with, give an
That would
update?
be more.
Well, the current board voted to bring in the new board, which is Marcia B. and Gina Hagelin, are the beginning. Will probably be more people on board to the new committee, board of directors. I'm not, I can use all these terms. And we've been working now for about 4 months, well, 3 months since September, on getting this all organized. And this is one aspect of it, but there's a lot more going on than just the mud bog. But right now, I thought we'd deal with the mud bog.
No, and I understand that. I was just kind of wondering if, what's going on, I mean,
Well, it's pretty exciting. We've been having a lot of people coming on board, and I just had some more meetings this afternoon, and I can fill you in, but I'm not sure you want, this is the situation to
No,
do that
maybe
with.
not. I think it's, from my personal point of view, and I'm not speaking for the rest of the council, but it's kind of a no-brainer for me, you got my support in this.
Wonderful, because you can either donate the land and we can redo it, and then that would put it back on the tax, because Mount Par has to pay taxes. So by doing this and really regularly, really literally doing it that way, you could do it by just giving us a lease and letting us use it. or really literally donating the land to mom and pa and putting it back on your tax base, because we pay taxes on that land.
Right.
So it could be done several ways.
Go ahead.
Looking at the map, are there 2 parcels that you're asking for, or just the one at the end of the one block?
Actually, it's both parcels.
That's what I want to make sure.
Is there any costs involved with transferring of the property? Maybe Brian can speak to this, or you, I don't know if anybody's looked into that.
I have not.
There would be attorney fees to,
Well,
change the legal description and,
it
just
may not have to
eliminate
be a legal fee because, let me explain that. I've talked with Greg Nickel, and we're looking at taking over a piece of property here.
You're
that
taking
was-
over the whole city.
Yeah, get out of here.
The nice thing about Mont
Lord
Pas,
help.
is that you guys own Mont Pas, so you might say that it looks like us, but it's not. It's, Mont Pas belongs to you. So
It's
You're just-
incorporated.
you're just kind of moving around to your advantage, really, because Mont Pas is owned by the city, really, kind of, the people.
Mhm.
But anyway, with the tax forfeited property, the county can literally come in and do this without that. But I've already found Straight Line who will donate the surveying free for us. So if we can get them to survey it, and then there might not have to be a lawyer cost, there could just be the closing costs.
yeah, bids don't even have to be like the legal description.
Either that, or
Apply
you
into
just
a
simply,
different
we
course.
do something with it as a 99-year lease or something.
I mean, I don't think they'd be much.
Yeah.
I think filing fees.
We want to make sure that it's,
$15 a head, so.
we want it to end up being really good for the city and end up having that whole area become kind of a community athletics thing there. And we want to dedicate that back to George and Etta, who donated the land, and we want to do a whole big memorial back there for them. And so that it's really, that whole area, we want to match it with the signs that you did for the ballpark, and start having that really look like a sports center.
Yeah, well, that fits with, my vision of eventually having a path, a headway from the downtown to the ball field.
Right.
It would take, building a culvert across the, ditch and everything like that, but, or a bridge rather, I mean.
These gentlemen have been working with Dean Wesky and Kevin Pera and some of the other people who have done the bog in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, you guys aren't telling. You can tell them. You're doing so well.
My family has property in McGrath, and my dad is actually the one that got me into the mud bog, and he started coming up here since '87. And we've been to Mont Pas all the time, every year. And he brought us kids up, we've been to the parades, walking around, seen the vendors, and it's just been declining and declining and declining. And then we're getting our trucks ready to come up again last year, and there was nothing out there that said if it was going or not, so I called the TAP, and they said, it's going, the event's going, but there won't be no mud bog. So we still came up here. We still came to the Kettle River with our four-wheelers instead, just to drive, we rode up here on the Sioux line. And I mean, it was just kind of disappointing not to see it. So that's why when I talked to the group, and we decided that we should pursue trying to see if we can get in the door of keeping it going, get the mud run back up.
Sure.
Because it was just really disappointing to see, I mean, there was not a crowd, there was nobody.
Yeah, and, with the survey and, they take on, putting the stakes in and, making sure that everything's to the letter, number, whatever. So with that being the case, I don't see that there's gonna be much need for, and I'm no lawyer, no, administrator, but, it would be minimal. So I would entertain a motion to donate per the drawing here, the land that we, and the city just donated outright. That's my.
I'll make a motion to donate those 2 parcels to Mont Pas.
Lee. Do I hear a second? Further discussion?
I suppose we do the upkeep on it now, or does this go all go to long grass?
Just goes on grass. The only upkeep we do is burn it in the spring sometimes. You know.
We've got somebody volunteer to clean it up and mow it already,
Okay.
so we'll take care of that. And these gentlemen also will bring in all the insurance. They're
Yes.
gonna have their own insurance, so we don't have to worry about insurance either.
Somebody's gonna have to worry about it.
Well, we will,
They're tapped into a bigger organization.
yeah,
Okay.
we're part of MN four-wheel drive, which is, they have, what is it, 127 clubs strong in Minnesota, and we get event insurance through them guys to run events.
And they also work with the DNR to make sure that we're not doing anything wrong to the land. So they'll be working with the DNR also.
Okay.
Cool. Do you want to talk that other piece of land right now while we're doing this?
It's up to you. I think it's not on their agenda because it didn't.
Let's
We
get
got a
this
motion off the table right now,
Okay,
so,
sorry.
You're fine.
any other more discussion, questions with regard to this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Did you have something else?
It's not on the agenda, should I wait? Yeah, I can do it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been working with, okay, I can't. Okay, I can't.
I was gonna say, hold on. Don't lie to me.
I'm sorry, I was,
The guys already know me. The piece of land that's right behind the building that I just purchased up on the hill, that's right next to Kent's property, I've been having my eye on that piece of property since we bought the building. And so I went to Greg Berneau, and that's tax forfeited land. And he has found a way for us to get that, Mom and Pa to get that land, and be able to clean that all up and start getting that situation back there straightened out.
Big
And-
chunk of responsibility that you're bringing on there.
Actually-
I know, but we've been working very
County
hard,
would have
we've been
to
working
clean
very
it
hard.
up.
Pardon me?
The county would have to clean it up.
No, the county will not be cleaning it up, Mom and Pa will.
They're gonna just donate it?
Yep. It won't be donated, what,
It's
You want it
$100.
tax.
The county would sell it to the city for $100,
Mom and Pa will pay the $100, so you don't have to.
and then the city would in turn
No, they're-
donate.
Flip it back.
And
Which piece of land?
That triangle right
It's the
to
triangle.
the south of Kenny's, there's that little triangle, that's before the sewer line. And he's got his bus parked there, and his truck parked there, and his trailer parked there, and his junk parked there.
Don't
And his cars parked there.
I've got the maps of it.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I have all the maps.
It's
Right there. So what we're
Yeah.
doing.
just quick.
Well, it's on the other side of the sewer line up there.
Yeah.
It's behind the,
It's right
it's
there.
behind me and it's behind the old garage.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with any of this maps.
It's where the
Well, my
sun's
dad,
gonna
my
be.
dad, the white, oh, here's Kingsley.
Okay, so we've identified the property.
Yes.
Your
Mom, Pa,
thoughts are to eventually have Mon Pa. Now, who's the corporate officers of Mon Pa these days?
Marcia,
Until
me,
January
and Gina.
1st, we are not until January 1st, until January 1st. Chris and Dale Riola and
Jen.
Jen Campbell are the officers until January 1st.
Okay,
After January 1st, Marty and I will be.
okay, so nothing really can happen
Okay,
unless we
This is-
deal with the
this is the
corporation.
hook though.
What?
This is the hook. Greg told me it has to be done before the turn of the year.
Okay,
Something to do with the county, they want to either, they're offering this deal, and I think they want to turn it before the first of the year off their books.
And so that's
Makes
why
sense.
the current board voted us in, even though they're still the board until the 1st of January, so that we can take care of this.
I just wanna know who we're dealing with, you know, I mean,
Okay.
that's all.
Well, mainly it's me and Morgan
And Gina.
Gina Caitlin,
Okay,
the postmaster.
right, okay.
And let me explain one of the reasons why I'm sure that this is gonna be really a good deal for the city and everybody else, is that that borders a historical site, which is the depot. And that's what we're trying to get that all cleaned up for Mont Paz, all around the event of remembering the fire. And we wanna get that all cleared up and cleaned up and have that whole thing as a memorial to understand where that fire was. So that piece of land can also be used by, overflow parking if we need things for the Mont Pa. I've got free, we needed to get that surveyed so that there could be no
Okay.
legal problems that come in there.
Getting it off of the county rolls and getting it into the city hands is the issue right now, is right? Is that's,
Right, but Greg, you know how to do it because you've done it with Barnum. And it'll just be a transfer, so Mont Pa will come up with the money, it'll be a paper, it'll go into your name for 1 second, and then it goes right into Mont Pa's.
what do we have do we have anything in writing now, or is it all just a handshake kind of?
He will do all of it as soon as this happens and there's an okay that the city's willing to, he'll work with her and get it all to writing.
Right. Right, but it's kind of a cart before the horse type of deal. I'm not sure, exactly what the city is looking at with the, in writing. I mean,
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Do you
But-
want it from Greg in writing, or who?
Yeah, Greg,
Okay.
send a letter or something
Yeah,
like that,
Greg
just
can do it
a
all.
proposal.
Like he sent this email to me, is that what you want?
Oh.
It said, Paul and I came up with a price of $100 plus associated fees for the parcel requested by Montauk. We will sell it to Kettle River, and Kettle River will then sell to Montauk. And Morgan will present at the council meeting.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Okay, got it.
So-
Great.
But, no, I just wanted to make sure that Greg was in the loop officially on this.
Yeah,
So-
he's been working with me this whole time.
Oh, I talked with him too, he's ready to get rid of all kinds of property in this
Yeah,
town.
and and Mont Pa's gonna take it, you guys, Mont Pa's gonna
So
take
for
it for
you,
the
so
city.
for you.
If Mont Pa takes all that pieces of land, it'll put it back on the tax bracket
Right,
for you,
back in the
and it
tax
really still really belongs to the city, except you guys won't be responsible for it.
Well, it'll actually be Montauk Corporation or whatever it's called. these days.
Right, it's incorporated.
I understand.
Yeah.
In a virtually city property, but actually a corporate.
Right.
I like the idea myself, it's really I don't see any downside. Does anybody see any downside here?
I think there is none.
No. So we need to approve, what I'm understanding is we need to approve the purchase of that parcel for $100.
Plus closing, it's about $50, and Mont Pa will pay for that.
So we don't have to.
Somebody make the motion and I'll make the motion and somebody second it and let's get on to the next deal.
Motion's been made by you?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Chris seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you gotta get.
Anything else he wants to buy you?
Well, I do. The next one is going to be the bank people, we're going to have that bank.
Deal.
But that's going to be free.
Really? News to you, huh?
I like those two things.
Okay. Good. All right. You guys done?
I think so.
That's all we have.
Oh, yeah.
All right, consent agenda.
Meeting minutes?
On the first claim for approval, first page, I'm sorry, page 2 of 2, from the lawyer, Rudy Gasser. I was wondering what that was in regards to.
You talking about the 6125?
Yep. $177. $106, $107 almost of that was charged to the fire department. I'm wondering how that works out. What does the fire department have to do with that?
It's all supplies for the copier machine, and I divided myself for funds because I run reports, copies. Every time they were training, I end up running copies. So I just divided out amongst everybody. Actually, I do half for the general, and then the other half is divided between the other three.
What does it say?
I didn't read it, I was on the heading. I didn't even know.
Administrative violation. What is that? What was that?
That would be that ordinance that's being researched, that administrative fees.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good. Did we get anything from that? Oh, cool, all right, we'll wait till that point. All right. That's all I've got. Anybody else? Motion? Motion's made,
Second.
seconded, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Administrative department.
Reviewed and updated the election binder. We got all the new information. Submitted the building permit information to Carlton County. Carlton County's been in town doing the assessment for the area. And I completed the mayor's request from the last meeting, it's on the table, and then the regular daily and monthly work.
Okay, so, yeah, I did request some records, and they were submitted, I see here, from March and August, I think it was, or October, actually, when we invoiced them. I guess for these two instances, I guess what I think that it would be a little bit more within the purview of the council to cut deals with other firms. You know, at least be aware of what the actual terms of the contractual arrangement are. You know, because again, I had no idea what was going on. You know, but we should at least be aware of the details of what is the arrangement, and rather than you know, hearing after the fact and have to go through all this kind of you know, what's going on deal. So in the future, if there are going to be any city assets or properties or services that are being rendered, does anybody have a problem with it being run by us and we're the ones that make the arrangements instead of Dave? You know, because it's a communication thing. We're the guys that are supposed to be running the city operations, so we should know what's going on at least. I'm not happy with
What if they can't wait for a meeting?
what.
You know, I don't even know which one you're talking about.
Okay, well, say for instance the logging, it was like a $3,000 deal. I don't even know where it went, you know, I mean, here it is written on March 12th, for $3,800 by Josh Williams. So,
How long ago was that?
March 12th.
This March?
Oh, this.
16.
Oh, no, oh, this is 16.
Yeah, this this is old, this is before you have even taken office.
Right,
Right,
And it
So
was
we knew
approved by
about it.
council.
you know,
but it was logged last fall.
It was still brought to the council and asked if they could log it.
But what did we get? What did we get for the logs that were,
You mean dollar amount?
yeah? Because these are all slip tickets for, logs delivered. And it's from 16. This is March 12th of 16, I didn't even see that, March 12th of 16, we got $3,800. But then after that, it was like November, December, January, he did some logging out there. I don't know if his equipment is still out there. And did we get any money for that?
We have not received any yet. He has promised to pay, so we hope he will come up with the slips. And the price that he's paying is what we call around what the going rate for Papa was, so.
Okay, all right.
The second go around was just cleanup, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's not gonna be as much, it's gonna be
Right.
like half that, 1,700, something like that. He's gonna pay half of it. He said he's gonna put it in the mail just over the weekend, and I texted him today to see if he did it or not, so.
usually when you do a logging operation, they pay you first and then they go and get the logs.
No, usually they wait till they get paid by the mill and all that.
Right.
So he gave us a check, cut us a check before he logged it anyway.
That was,
This was from
that
last.
was, that was previous logging.
Oh, that's previous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, here it is, almost a year later, close to a year later, and we still haven't seen $1 out of him for what he owes us for that logging operation from last fall. It doesn't seem right to me, I don't know. He's got the logs and the money, and the money he got from the pulp mill or whatever, and we got a promise, that's all. So, I'm just saying, to make things cleaner, it needs to come to the council, so we're not coming after anybody but us, to say what's going on with this. So, do you guys agree, disagree, have a problem, whatever? I want to hear thoughts. If you got any.
You're correct, but it was approved way back.
What was approved?
Him logging and the dollar amount and everything.
We haven't gotten paid, and we
The
haven't.
second year he's promised, yes, but the first we've gotten paid already.
Right, but we haven't. You see, he's cut. The thing is that I didn't understand what was going on, because it came before I was on the council apparently.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying that as the mayor, as one of the 5 here, I should know what's going on instead of just a promise of payment. What's the arrangement? Well, he said he'd pay us. I'll ask him again, I'm just, it needs to be a little bit more clear. If it's gonna go out, it should go out for bid is what it should go. Okay, you got this parcel of land with this kind of lumber on it, okay, I'll do it for this kind of money, or whatever. It should be competition, free market should work into this situation somehow. I'm just saying that Dave shouldn't be cutting deals. We should be the ones that are cutting deals. Anyway. And this other one where I had, called the Anderson brothers, and I proposed a price with him. He was ready to pay us $750, and you said no problem, $750. We get $162 out of the deal. We could add another $600. This is kind of giving it away, is what I'm.
But just like you're telling Dave, you're supposed to be writing up a contract. You're supposed to come to the council first.
Correct.
If you're gonna say for Dave to do it or Burdine to do it, that you need to do the same thing and not just.
And I brought it to the council, and this is what I did, and I said, this is.
But you already had made the agreement.
Well, this is the
You have
conversation.
to do that before you make the agreement.
This is the conversation that I had with the gentleman, and I came to you guys with the, you know, with the official deal, and you guys shot it down, it went nowhere, okay? But, and Dave's contract prevailed, you know, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions or anything like that, but in the pecking order, he's part of the staff of which we are the supervisors, you know? And so what I'm saying is that there needs to be some mechanism, some way of doing it so that everybody in the council is the deal cutters and not the staff. That's what I'm saying, Dave.
But you also have to take account to that yourself.
I'm sorry?
You have to take that account to yourself.
I brought it to the council. I brought
After
things
you
in
already
writing.
made the deal. And you're telling Dave he can't do that, but you can? That seems kind of contradictory to me.
I'm an elected official.
It don't matter if you're an elected official or not.
Well,
Get
I'm
that,
just saying that
As
there
a-
needs to be something
as a
figured out.
personnel committee, when we talked, when we did our evals, we made sure that if they're gonna make any more arrangements, that needs to be written down in a document and brought to the council.
Okay, all right. That would have been good to know before I started what I was going to say.
Well, how was I know what you're gonna say before you say it? I'm not a mind reader.
No reason to get sarcastic.
I'm not mind
Then with the third issue, it's $501.36. This is just, I mean, I could write this on a piece of paper. This is no real record of receipt. This is just a typed piece of paper. Why did we get $501 from Edward Jones?
There's a water and sewer payment, and that's what that states there.
But why from Edward Jones
Does
do they
it
have?
matter who
I don't
pays their water and sewer
control how
bill?
people pay their water and sewer bill.
Oh. Okay.
They want to pay from an investment account, let them pay from an investment account. They want to pay from the stocks, let them pay from their stocks. What does it matter
wasn't
where they pay it
designated.
from?
It wasn't, Edward Jones is a financial advisor, and
No,
certainly
that's where
they,
you keep your stock portfolio and your investments and your CD and some of your CDs.
the question that I had was that do we have any holdings with Edward Jones, basically, you know, and if we do.
Then why didn't you ask that question?
Dave,
No, why didn't you ask that question instead of trying to
because
get around the bush?
because I wanna know where money's going and coming from. Is there any problem with that? Do you have a problem with me knowing?
If it's coming from a private citizen to
Dave,
pay their water bill, it's none of your business where it's coming from. None. No.
How do I know it's coming to pay a water bill? This is the first time I've seen that it's coming to pay a water bill.
That's the second time. You had it in your last request.
Anyway. So, everything needs to come to the council, basically, is what my contention is. Along with, while we're on administrative, and we had an issue before about petty cash. Is there a ledger for that account?
I gave it to you.
Is there a ledger for that account?
Yes, I brought it the last time when we did the check. You
There was a bunch of, yeah, so that little stack in a I'm just seeing, is there a ledger that, with dates and deposits and disbursements and everything like that? Is there a ledger for that account?
Yes, I gave it to you the last time.
Okay,
You viewed it.
all right. Well, I just, want it to be available at the next meeting if we could.
Sure.
Okay, great. That's all I got. Anybody else? Administration. Utilities Department.
You've got your, my report in front of you. Just have a few other things. Letter from the PCA, which mayor and actually it was sent to him and to Jerry, and I did not ever receive one, so I called up and I asked about what it had to deal with. And it has to do with our discharge of our secondary pond into the Kettle River. which eventually flows into the St. Croix River and then into Lake St. Croix and Lake Pepin. And they're coming up with that, right now, their concern is about the amount of phosphorus that's heading in there and the blooms and algae that they're getting down there. So right now, our permit does not have a phosphorus limit. So, but if we cannot keep the numbers down below what the PCA has come up with, and theirs is saying our new limit is gonna be 97.0 kilograms per year, which broke down out, I have to talk to their engineer and find out, because right now it's around 2.0, it's gotta be below when I do it on our monthly discharge thing, so.
So you're saying that I received I have not seen any letter regarding phosphorus from this would be from the Department of
That's-
Health?
New water
You were
quality
copied
based
on it.
effluent, yeah, you were copied on it, it says Dear Mayor Clausen.
Really?
So anyway,
In my emails or in my,
no, it was, I think it was a hard copy, I think.
no, I would have recognized that, but I look over all my mail, and so.
Anyway, if we could keep the numbers down, and I think the best way to do that is to educate the public, and that's why there's a couple pages up there with phosphorus. Because otherwise, if we do not keep our numbers down, we're gonna be forced into probably, the only way we can knock down the phos limits to meet that is to feed alum in the secondary pond before we discharge. Right now, Cromwell has to do that because of what they're discharged into. Their secondary pond is approximately 2 times our size, and whenever they discharge, it costs them, just for the alum alone, it's about $1,500. So our pond's about half that, which would be about $750, and then you have the labor, and then you have to go out and buy a boat or a pontoon to mix it, because it has to be mixed in there, then you have to test again, so we got another test on that. So it would really,
So what's our phosphorus levels, you know, I mean, is it what are we talking about here as far as, you know, is it twice the minimum, or is it?
ours is right on the borderline, but they're saying that they suggest that we talk with an engineer, which they said I could talk to their engineer. You know, for response, we have to respond back by March of next year. They want the evaluation of the facility's capability of maintaining the compliance with the limit during the next 5-year permit term. And they're worried about the estimated increases in flow and loading over the next 5 years, and if there's any projected population growth or industry in the next 5 years, so. And, you know, it's something that's been coming down the pike for a while, and the FOSS were worried about it, and then we did do a mailer or something on the bill a few years back about it, telling people to, you know, look at the ingredients as to what detergents you should be using, because otherwise, you know, this is just gonna come back on the citizens, and you guys are gonna have to pay more to pay for this, so.
Didn't get that information right there, several months ago too, and some people said, well, what difference does it make what kind of laundry detergent we're using?
Well, it does.
But I tried to explain that.
Question, when did they actually set the limit, or how did they determine the limit for Kettle River?
The limits are done about through the state. There's, in this area, there's Barnum, Moose Lake, Will River, Finlayson, Sandstone, and that all contributed to that. So they all look at our permits, what our discharges and stuff like that, the size of the community.
Besides, do they look at the usage, how many people are utilizing the system?
Yeah, there's just for example, Finlayson's with their size, ours is gonna be set at 97, theirs is gonna be allowed 414. This is the size of the dam and stuff, so.
Now, there was no limit prior to this?
Yeah, there is, but we didn't have it on our permit.
The main contributors are detergents? What kind of
Hand
detergents?
soaps?
Yeah, any kind of soap.
Bernadine, is it possible that you can run a list of what the terms that don't have the phosphorus, and you send them out to the public when you send out the bills?
Yeah, what Dave and I discussed, because we also have some wellhead protection things that should be notified to, that we possibly have to, I don't know if we could do it for the December or for the January, billing, but we would include those, and we can include the list of
Just do a
ideas
mailer.
and,
Mail
Yeah,
out.
that'd be great. Well, not phosphorus low or non-phosphorus.
right, and we'd incorporate the mailing with the billing, so it's just the difference of course prior to first class.
Sure. At least notify the public and then just give them kind of a estimate of what, you know, that it's gonna cost us more, or water and sewer bill is gonna cost more, you know, if we don't get our phosphorus. Just kind of give them a brief explanation
Explanation of, sure.
of what's going on, so the citizens have an idea, just so they're not, well, you know.
We'll bring it to the next meeting before we'll probably bring it next meeting and get it sent out at the beginning of the year, so.
When's the next time it's gonna be tested?
We have to, it's not gonna take place till after March, so
No, the next time the phosphorus level is gonna be tested.
I'm done discharging now, so the only one will be the influence, so that'll be next year, because I'm done with the quarterly ones too, so.
Steve, how often do you discharge?
Well, this year was 5 times with all the rain we had, but then with all the rain, the phosphorus down, so,
Sure.
you know, because it was all groundwater, so.
Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but who are you? My name's George.
George, I'm Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Interested party here.
Interested party, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. This is me being a dumb female, not knowing what soaps could be used or what can't be. Is there a way that you can that? Because there might be a lot of people that don't know what soaps to use and what to use. You know what I mean?
Right,
That's
well,
what
it's
we
gonna
just
be, it's gonna
discussed.
be an education
Yeah.
process, so we'll have to try to address it.
There's a website here you can go on that
Okay.
explains it all, and the soaps and stuff.
Okay, because
All right, we're gonna move on here. Okay.
The next thing, Adam, is that you got a price quote up there for a new self-priming chemical feed pump with sodium hypochlorite. I would like to see the city go ahead and purchase that. Because right now, pumps are averaging running 2 to 3 times a day, and if the pump loses its prime, I'm not there, it pumps anyway, but it doesn't put the bleach in there, a disinfectant. So you're not getting the consistent water. With this new pump, it would self-prime, so it would help with the better quality of water. And the old pump, which probably might be on one of its last legs anyway, because it's very old, could be used for backup for the other pumps in the chemical feed room. There's 4 other ones, so.
How old are those pumps in there?
What's that?
How old are the pumps that you want?
Some are original from '05, but I did replace one before. That was that was a chemical feed one because it had, I would run at night and it wasn't primed, it just kept on pounding and it just wore itself out, so.
Do they deep prime quite often, or?
Bleach is really corrosive part of it. You've got, in each line, there's 4 check valves, and it still bleeds back and loses its prime. All it needs is a little bubble there and it's done. And there's a plate cover on there, and that's the corrosiveness in the chemical feed room. That's why I'm replacing them with plastic. And I put the foam insulating backers on them too, because I took a picture inside the one and the wires were already starting to corrode. And if that happens, we'd have to be replacing all the wiring, so I'm hoping that prevented that. This will prevent that, so.
Make a motion to buy the bleach 625 or something like that delivered.
The bleach pump,
Yeah.
$642 for 24.
Is that delivered price?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I did, the rest of the report is on there. I did add, I tried calling, I called MnDOT concerning stormwater catch basin maintenance. They haven't got back to me on it yet, so, and I will inform you as soon as I do.
What's that? Catch basin.
On Main Street there, where all the water runs all the curb and gutter goes down there, because it gets filled up with silt and stuff like that. And then,
What we talked about at the last meeting? you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the what, clean the gutters out. Okay.
yeah, And then, it was brought up that, I thought maybe Howard Eskew was gonna be here today, but he wanted a price, and maybe Marcia can get it to him, that the estimate for the outside motion detector lights, to install them and put them up from Niagara Electric, is, estimate was $1,200. And I know the Legion is gonna pay for some of it, if not all of it, but, you know, Howard not here, I don't know. But I know they wanna get going on it because they hold the meetings.
They don't have a meeting in January, February, so,
Okay, so we got a little time to,
so they were wondering what was happening. Howard, I thought he was gonna be here tonight, but so far he's not showed up, so. But yeah, I know they don't meet in January, February.
okay, so we got a little time yet then.
And, but I know that they would like to get that motion sensor light installed, because it's, you know, if you're here at night, you can't even see you put the key in the lock.
Yeah.
No. What's the cost on it, what they were talking about?
$1,200.
$1,200, that's going over in Menards for $17 or something like
Can't
that.
we just buy those solar motion lights that you stick to the?
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's fine as long as you got some sunlight there and there, but.
well,
But this is, you know, you got inspection fees on that, because, you know, he's gonna break in the wiring and stuff, he's gotta run conduit on the outside, drill holes, and run all the way back to the panel, so, you know, it's not, this is going up there and replacing the thing, so, and he's a contractor, so.
there's an outlet right there, there's a hot wire right there.
And the light's controlled by that switch, but it seemed like they could just replace that fixture out there, but
Yeah, I asked him, so he broke it down to us.
All you need is a hot wire, you know?
Sounds nice too.
Yeah. Wow, $1,200. Okay, I would have to go against it. That's crazy. Or at least look into it a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, I'll see if they'll be, I can tell Howard and see, we can talk about it, have to come in the next meeting or something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing I had was that, I was asked to check into those, radar speed limit signs. I was checking with Sturgeon and Willow, and they haven't gotten back to me yet either on how they paid for them. So the tons along 61 down there have them now, so.
Did they notice an improvement in the speed limit?
They haven't said, you know, they haven't been up long enough to really.
Like the one in Moose Lake by the church there?
Yeah.
Gets you thinking anyway.
I know I talked to Kelly Lake about it as a safety conservative town, and she said there's no money available through the county to do it anymore. The county money is all dried up on that, but I don't know with it being a state highway, if there'd be state money available for that or not.
Well, I want to make sure it's feasible, but I wonder if, you know, if it is helping in Sturgeon Lake and Moose Lake and Finlayson, and where they do have them, if it's not, then there's no point in putting them up.
I know it helps me when I'm coming in and you see
Yeah.
it going.
I saw a semi come by through here yesterday at 50 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
It's all the time in town.
Yeah,
So, I think it's something that, it says somebody's watching, you know, it gets my attention.
I'll get a copy here,
You know.
I just need some more information before we work out.
Like I said, with it being a state highway, maybe there's some state money available, state patrol money, state something available for it. Be a place to start anyhow.
Otherwise, that's all I had.
For manganate pump working?
Actually, that's in my report. I've not hooked it up yet because the pressure aerator is not working yet. I did put a new solenoid in there. Next week, hopefully, a tech from Automatic Systems is coming up. And hopefully he can take care of the backwash issue also.
Is that the guy who sold us the pump?
No. I got the aerator, the solenoid from Tonka.
Yeah, because this is, I don't know, a month, we're working on months. Let's get that thing working. It takes out the iron is what I'm understanding, right?
It helps to take it up down.
Yeah. No. All right. Okay. Fire first responder chief
We had 3 medical calls last month, 4 fire calls, 1 in our area, and then 3 mutual aids to surrounding areas. The light bar we ordered is in. I talked to emergency apparatus and maintenance about installing it after I talked with Matt, and he was pretty busy, so. Emergency apparatus said they'd come right to the hall and install it for us, but it will not be until sometime in December when they get done getting all the departments pump testing done for the year. So I will be in contact with them to get an exact date on that, to get it hooked up and going for us. The only other thing I have is firefighter 1 and 2 classes are going to be starting in January. We have 2 new members that I would like to get sent to those classes so we can have more interior firefighters. It's a long time to start them and get them going, so.
Where is it happening?
They are gonna be split between Barn and Estill.
Well, that's not too bad then.
So guys from up north got a close one for one night, and guys from down here have a close one for one night, so. Tuesday, Thursday type thing, and it is what it is. It's 144 hours, I think, the classroom time. So.
All the rigs running good?
Yep, all the rigs are on. So.
I got a question for you, Nick.
Yep.
You get all your emails?
I do.
Do you read them all?
I try to.
Okay. I was informed that you received an email on August 24th about a grant to pay for part of the turn down gear, or half, or at least one set.
I'm sure I did.
Just wondering why you didn't fill that out and send it in.
I think I received it and I had no time to get it done. And summertime for me is extremely busy, and during the summer I work, that's all I work this summer.
Right.
I'm laid off in the wintertime.
What about Kyle? Could he get done? Possibly.
Possibly.
I mean, it would save the money in the city, you know, how much is it, $3 a piece? At least for one,
They're 1,800 a piece, something around there.
so about $1,800. Just saying, you know, if you can't do it, at least designate somebody that will, you know,
Right.
or that's able to. You know, that could have put, the $1,800 could have been spent somewhere else, for a new pump, or whatever, you know, stuff we need, or.
The way I understand it is that money's coming from the fire department fund anyhow. All that money that's coming in for fire protection is being spent for the fire department. Or should be being spent for the fire department.
Okay. But anyway, you could have saved the fire department money. You know, I'm sure the districts around here that we serve,
Without a doubt.
or, you know, if they, you know, find out that you guys could have saved some money, I'm sure they wouldn't be happy about it. I'm just saying, you know, if you can't do it next time, you get the email, you know, if somebody's willing to do it, you know, assistant fire chief or, you know, somebody else, I'm sure everybody would be much appreciated.
Right. Understand?
That's all I have.
Alright, Rob's not here, city council, anybody?
Rob has something,
Oh,
I was just gonna say, Rob,
oh,
training, right?
yeah, Rob,
Oh,
said he would be
yeah.
able to get more training across.
look
All
at,
this to improve his training.
In January.
His yearly training that he's got to go to down in the cities. For 3 days, I believe it is.
so, what are we looking at for costs? We paying mileage and wage and this?
Correct.
I don't know, for the amount of money, for the amount amount of building that we have, I mean, we do have a lot of roofs in this town that needed it from the hail and stuff like that. But, you know, for this one deal, it's gonna be better part of $1,000 that we're gonna be paying him for, or not paying for, you know, his services, and I don't think it doesn't seem that with the building permit revenue that we've got, it justifies spending that kind of money, to me.
It's $125 per day.
So that's $375.
And
It's
then,
an ongoing education that he has to
and
do.
then $109 a night for the.
But we're looking at, you know, make possibly alternatives where if there is a need for, you know, somebody that's building something that needs to be inspected, or pouring a slab or something like that, that we can look at, you know, perhaps Moose Lake or Sturgeon Lake or Cromwell or who they use, and contract them out for that particular job, you know, and pay them like that.
Building code that the city has adopted, you can't do that, we have to have
The building code that we have adopted is basically the template that the state uses. It's the same deal. They took the building code from the state and they put it into our ordinances. That's what it is. So it's the same. There might be improvements in Moose Lake, but there's the same bottom line starting point. There might be extras at different places, but I don't know. That's my understanding, that we just took what the state recommends and does it, you know. We're spending a lot of money and we're losing money in this proposition, is what I'm saying. We can't afford to lose money.
But then you're talking for the citizens to pay more money out of their pocket to get a building permit, because if you go a contractor, they could bid to whatever they want.
We can still have a fee. We can still have the fee structure.
The building inspector has their own fee.
Yeah.
That's what comes out of that $51 that we pay for the building fees.
And I think
that goes to partly to the city and then goes partly to the building inspector. And if we contract it out, those prices are. So now you're asking the citizens to pay.
Well, if they're going to make improvements on their property, it's going to.
So you're saying you want the citizens to pay more to build?
I'm saying that the revenues that are generated by the permits do not equal the revenues that we pay for his training and wage and mileage. That's all I'm saying. It's a losing proposition. We're losing money on the deal.
I'll make the motion to send it. That's all I know.
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. All right. Let's see what we got. Committees. Personnel committee.
We had our meeting. And you should have the new job descriptions in your packet from all the employees. We did our job evaluations, taken care of. We haven't had time to take a look at it.
I did take a look at it. It says on the building inspector, who, by the way, I don't think he's an employee of the city, is he? Or is he?
Yes.
He is an employee of the city, okay. All right, that is the contract. But anyway, it says, date adopted June 10th, 2003. So is this 15 years, is this document 15 years old?
There hasn't been
Well, if you approve it tonight, it'd be updated, but that's how long it was prior.
since the last city council adopted or went through the job descriptions.
Do we have changes from 2013 to now on any of these?
Pretty much they were housekeeping changes.
Yeah, all the rest of them have pretty much stayed the same, except for the housekeeping slash.
So the ones I'm reading now are the updated ones, that
Yep.
just have the dates and not updated. Do we have a copy of the old ones that I can compare the two to? So I know, I mean, I trust the fact that when you say, you know, housekeeping changes, but I guess.
It was,
Well,
the utilities was filled in correctly.
There was a few minor changes. I mean, it wasn't nothing dramatic in his work, except for that they were combined.
On which one, I'm sorry. I'm behind. The building inspector, the building administrator?
No, the maintenance worker custodian. They used to be two separate ones, and now it's combined.
So this one is combined?
Yeah, it's been combined into one.
Do we have the old ones though, to compare them to? Or no? Thanks for stopping by, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, that was suck. Go $50 into it. But the job descriptions themselves have pretty much stayed the same, except for the custodian, where it's wide, it's a little wide.
So what do we need to do? Approve these. Alright.
Yeah, approve the updated job description. And then when we close the meeting, that's when we go through the job evaluations.
Right. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, I appreciate that. Looks good to me.
Making a motion to approve the.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion?
I have a couple of questions. I know on account office clerk and maintenance worker slash custodian, those two have very specific 8 to 12 hours per week as assigned by the supervisor, and the other, did we not limit hours of work for others, or?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you read it, like, if you read the account office clerk under hours, 8 to 12 hours per week as assigned to the supervisor. You look at building inspector, there's nothing, and, I mean, if you work 80 hours in 1 week if you chose to.
Well,
You look
his
at-
work depends on demand.
But let's look at the administrative clerk treasurer, there's no limit on the amount of hours there. There's no limit on the hours of the utility superintendent per week, but we limited to 2, and I'm just, not that it's a huge deal, but I just didn't know why we specified in 2 of them, not all of them, hours per week. You see what I'm saying? Are you following me, or am I losing you guys?
I think,
Was there any discussion about that?
I think,
Oh,
go ahead.
Jason,
Yeah.
on mine anyway,
You might have,
I'm on call 24/7, 365, so if I work, let's say, done Friday, and something happens over the weekend,
yeah, you got.
you know, and there's an emergency, I gotta come in, so, you know, do I stay home?
Right,
So that's why, that's
Okay.
like that, so.
okay, that's all I was looking
Yeah.
for, is an explanation, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's,
Thank you.
But I think you're hired on as 3/4 time.
yes.
And there's no major meltdowns in Port House, I'm pretty sure you want water. We like that water, clean water.
Okay, so utilities superintendent, 3/4 time is out.
And then,
Is there,
and then I think for Bernadina, you're also 3/4 time?
Mine is, I think it's listed as 25 and, no, it's 20 to 25 or something like that, or as needed.
where's that listed? It's not listed in your job description,
Should
so I
probably
just.
add one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind adding the 3/4 time for him and the 20 to 25 as needed, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I mean,
I'm just saying, I mean, if we're gonna limit some people's hours, I think we really should be consistent, yeah, there,
I think the reason it
I don't
wasn't
wanna
is
split here.
we're actually classified as full-time,
Yeah.
and those.
So he's not 3/4 time, he's full-time?
Yeah, we're classified as full, and then the others are part-time.
But if you just get them
We
tell
can
me
put
20 to 25 hours or as needed, but you're full-time, would that be 40 hours a week?
That was the classification, that both of our positions held, is they're considered full-time and, with benefits.
Where's that written? That's what I'm getting, I mean,
Oh,
if we can get it put in here, I'm good with that.
Sure.
I just don't like the information being in 4 different spots, you know what I mean?
Right,
If we're doing them, let's do them right.
yeah.
so you're classified as full-time,
Mhm.
and you work 3 days a week over at Barnum, and you're here 2 days a week. And so that's 25 hours. And the office, which has been open a little bit longer these days, is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, a total of 16 hours. So there's like 9 hours minimum, and sometimes I see you put down 30 hours for work. And
I
I'm
don't know
wondering
what
how
you're
that,
referring to.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what you're referring to.
The time period is 2 weeks.
Right, right. So, like, say for instance here, I got 61 hours for 2 weeks. So that's
How many
an,
days are there?
I'm sorry? Well, she put on, like, say for instance, on Monday, puts down an hour where she's over in Barnum. On Wednesday, she puts down an hour where she's over in Barnum, and on Friday, she's off, and she puts down 4 hours.
Well, it depends on if I was here or not. And two, then I put down an hour because I answered phone calls over there, I get emails, I stop in here on my way.
So on Friday, so,
Well, some Fridays, if I had stuff I have to do, I just come and get it done.
but the office isn't open on
Right.
Friday.
No. But I do my work.
So all the hours that you have on here, that you put on here, are in the office?
Yes.
No. Okay. And 5 hour on a Friday there. Seems like a lot of time. What do you, like, say for instance, what do you, that seems like a lot. You know, you said general, what does it say? General fund office. So if you're in the office, what would be the problem with just putting an open sign on the office saying, come on in if you got a question? Because you're answering phones anyway, right?
Have you ever walked by when I'm in the office? The majority of the time that it is open.
Right, but never on a Friday. And you put down 4 hours on a
If
Friday.
I'm here on a Friday, I have a certain job I need to get done. So No,
So
I
you don't wanna be
open.
bothered?
Correct.
Okay. Mhm.
She doesn't have an office assistant to take care of the people that come into the front office and chat for half an hour. There's people that do that. They just come in and chat, and that takes away from time you're working.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an office assistant to take care of that, you have to do that as well as trying to get your work done.
Okay. Got it.
Unless you're going.
I'd like to make a motion to table these until we can get the updated information that I requested typed in there. Or does it have to be done? I don't know.
What's the?
The motion right now was to accept these, was it not?
Right. So.
I just would like to see it,
Accept it with the changes.
as long as we get the changes in our packet next month, yes.
So what's the rule?
I-
Parliamentary, what do we look at?
Parliamentary rule would be either we motion to table, we need a supermajority to motion to table it, or, which would be 4 or 5 of us. Or we just, the table motion is dead and we vote on the motion on the table, which is to accept this, as they sit right now.
Okay.
That would be
Well, a
Parliamentary.
motion is made to table, and I would second that motion to table.
Just to get those corrections, the 20-25 hours as needed, or the 3/4 time, or full time, or whatever they are, you know, just to get those added under, what would it be, what is it under the
We
other?
have a motion on the table that was seconded. Would you continue that first?
Well, we got parliamentary rules here, and we got a motion to table, right? And
But you
so,
had a motion.
table the
and-
original
and a
motion.
second.
to table, right, and we table, and what this motion is, can you explain the parliamentary here?
Yeah, I mean, you can table a motion in the middle without voting on it, as long as you have a supermajority, which would be 4 to 5 of us to vote in favor of the table. If we don't do that, then the motion is read once again as it was originally made, seconded, and then we vote, yea or nay.
So we vote on the,
We vote on the table
we're
first.
discussing the tabling first, and then we need 4 or 5 to table it. If that doesn't pass, then we vote on the motion
Correct.
that you made.
Correct. That's where we sit right now.
So,
Can we amend the motion to where we add those times into the packet and then have them?
Yep, we can amend a motion, but whoever was the original motion maker needs to accept the amendment. Would we rather do that?
Yeah, but I would rather do that than.
All right, I would rather amend it and get it out of my way too.
Yeah.
So.
So who was the one that?
I don't think I did. I thought George did.
Who made the motion?
Dave made the motion. So
Yeah.
Dave's in favor of amending the
Yes, I'm
motion.
in favor of amending the motion to add the times into the utility superintendent
And
and
administrative.
what's the whole title? Administrative clerk treasurer.
Yep.
Here, a second.
Second on the amendment. We gotta vote on the amendment first.
so you withdrew your motion?
Yeah, I withdrew my table, and as long as you don't amend it. I can do that.
Motion has been amended.
There's a motion to amend, yep, we vote on the motion to amend first.
Motion is made, we need a second for a motion to amend.
There, you got that.
All in favor?
Further discussion? No. All those in favor of amending the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Motion on the table is whether to accept the amended,
Correct.
motion.
And that's been seconded.
So, further discussion on that?
None from me.
Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Can we vote on air fiber, please? I'm so sick of seeing it. Table.
Oh, since we're on the personnel committee, was there any follow-up on the harassment deal?
Yes, we have started our investigation into it.
Okay. Alright. Fiber, Tom Feeney lease agreements.
I have an update.
Oh, good.
They both want to have the agreement tabled until February of next year with a starting date of March is what they're targeting. And the reason for that is Air Fiber is going through a equipment upgrade that they have to get some licensings from the FCC, and they're in that process.
Okay.
So they want to just move everything back.
Okay. Fire department SOPs, nothing?
Nothing this last month, we didn't work on them at all.
Okay.
Unless Kyle did it, I don't know, unless Kyle's been doing some on it, I haven't talked to him about it, so.
Okay. Green Step Cities info.
I wasn't here, obviously, last month because I was sick. I did talk to Brian afterwards, and he's been sending a couple emails back and forth to Brian and I. The resolution is where we start. I don't know if he told you guys that or not.
Yep.
It's in the packet. I'd like a motion to pass this resolution with the links filled in the city of Kettle River in 1, 2, 3, 4 different spots. Signing the resolution number, and I'd like to make a motion to pass this.
I'll second it.
It costs us nothing. There's no cost to it.
Do you wanna be the person that, was kinda, I briefly read through it. Contact point, like,
I can do that, guys.
Motion is made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Certified delinquent water and sewer accounts to taxes. How much money are we talking about?
Currently, we're at $4,027.71.
Delinquents? Is there like big actors in this?
There's 7 people.
What's the biggest amount? Can we see that list?
I don't have it divided out into parcels.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is a pretty standard
And,
thing that happens, is it not? Like, last year.
but I kinda like to know where we stand.
Well, it changes, so I can bring a spreadsheet to the December meeting. They're given until the last week of the month to come in.
Yeah, because if somebody's gonna come up to me and say, wait, you can't turn my, I need to know.
Everybody that is on the list received letters and were invited to come to the meeting tonight, which is why.
Oh,
And I'd like
okay.
to address the board on that.
Then Jeff, what
You know,
property do you have?
I've got the locker plant building.
Oh,
I've got
okay.
tenant in there, and I guess I'd like to address that as,
Dot set.
yeah.
Okay,
I've been
All
working
right.
with Bernadine on the tenant to actually pay that. I just received notice that he was past due. I believe we sent him a disconnect, and he changed the current amount that was past due up. And now I think we told him they had to get the balance due by today, but I haven't heard if he didn't have a record if he paid it or not today. But I guess, number one is in the future, if they're past due, turn it off. I mean, give them a notice, 15 days or whatever, turn the water off. I refuse to be responsible. I don't pay my own kid's water bill. I'm not gonna pay someone else's water bill.
amen.
I mean, that's just,
Yeah, you carry your own weight, I understand that, and so, all right.
and I guess I asked her to get that property, if we pull that off throwing that against the taxes, I think just by serving him another letter, if he is past due of a disconnect, and you've got my permission as a landowner to turn it off if it's not paid.
Well, we don't need your permission, I don't think, do we? Or,
No, but
No, but I mean-
even if it is turned off, there is a base fee, and it does go to the property owner.
A base fee, Explain that, please.
It's basically the debt service rate is charged, whether the water is turned off or not. And that's to pay the loans for the improvements.
But, okay,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is if he doesn't pay it, that's fine. I mean, but do a disconnect, do not turn it back on unless that's paid. I guess I'm giving you permission, give him a notice of 15 days, disconnect, or whatever legally you can do. I mean, just,
Can you turn the water off in the middle of the night?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
You have to send a notice to them and ask them if they heat with water. And then it's up to the property owner to come in. and
Does he heat with water?
I think even if it is heating with water, if the hot water boiler, as long as he's got the heat on, I mean, he's not getting water to flow through the system. So you've got my permission, if it's not being paid.
Right, but I'm just trying to determine, as was said, that if he needs water to heat his place, whether or not we'd be able to.
He's not getting new water from the system, even if he is, I guess, none of that, I don't remember if I've got hot
Correct,
water or
but-
not.
I'm sure,
If it's a boiler system of any type, it's gonna
It's
have to
internal system.
but it'll have to keep refilled if it's.
to keep the pressure up.
So that's the story.
I guess what I'm saying is, as a property owner, you've got permission to give him a,
Right, we'll do whatever we can in the white lines of the law, I guess, but,
and I asked that instead of serving me notice, putting it on the taxes, do the proper notification to him in advance during the summertime instead of, I mean, it should never gotten this far along. I mean, so in the future, if he's a month behind, you've got my permission, turn the water off. I mean, I've got no issue with that. I'd rather have the water turned off and have it freeze up rather than have the water on and have it freeze up.
no doubt.
But, so I guess I request that property get at least removed from the buildings. And he might be current, I guess we don't know yet today, if he paid it today or not. But I guess I'm asking that.
He might have both of us over a barrel with the fact that he might need water for heat. That's the only hitch in his giddy up here. I understand where you're coming from and totally empathize and sympathize with your situation.
Give me a notice.
You know,
Number one, okay. Number one, to give me a notice that it's on the taxes, no. I mean, the taxes are paid or else is paid, that's not gonna be thrown on the taxes because of a water bill.
As a
Do you have a copy
landlord,
of the letter the city sent you?
Where did you, I don't have.
I know they invited you to the meeting in the letter, what did it, I mean, to appeal the decision, or, I mean, why were you invited to the
Correct,
meeting?
yeah.
So you're formally appealing that we
I'm formally
exclude that
appealing.
one property
Yeah,
from this?
exclude that one property,
That's what I needed.
and then I work with Bernadine, either way it's gonna get paid. I mean, if it, Bernadine, if that, I'm not gonna publicly go and tell him that, but if there's a certain amount that's not paid, it'll get paid. I mean, but you've got permission to legally turn it off as a property owner.
yeah, well, the legally part is the problem, I think.
I-
That's my understanding.
I got other properties where we actually, tenants don't pay, they turn it off.
Right.
Um,
Right, and if you got a furnace, that's not a problem, but he's got a boiler.
You know, I've got some other properties that have hot water,
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out, yeah.
I guess I just request that you remove that one, and I'm willing to work with Bernadine. And I think she can contest that communication lines are, once I know about something, we address it.
Mhm. I can let you know, I think in the letter, that everybody got to the 27th of November to bring it, so
Okay.
I can let you know where we stand.
Okay,
He sounded like he was pretty sincere in getting it caught up.
I think so. He knows that, yeah.
Does he sound like he's gonna come clean?
It did. I mean, he was actually here, I swung in, what was it, Monday? Whatever day it was.
Yeah, it was done last Thursday.
Last Thursday, and then he gave her a partial payment at that time as well, so. And he's been paying partial payments along the way, but the key is to get him caught up and then keep him caught up at that point. But I know that's not your job, but in the future, in the summertime, then I know you can turn it off.
Right.
So-
For Archer.
April, I think it is.
But I guess I just request, yeah, I'm petitioning that they remove that one, and I just work with her and
I'll make a motion to certify the delinquent water and sewer comes to taxes with the exception of the locker, the old locker.
yeah, I don't know what the address is.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming up.
Yeah. Okay, so how's this authorization to pay Lake Country Power, Minnesota Energy Resources electronically? Are there any costs with that? No?
Shouldn't be.
It's like you or me paying,
Okay. Alright. Motion's made, seconded, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Authorization to issue payroll by direct deposit. Now, that one, I'm not certain, there needs to be, how is the fact that Bernadine is writing her, is a signator on her own paycheck balanced? I know that we go through approval on the council and such like that, but by law, is this allowable, I guess is my question. Because the statute states that it's to be drawn by the treasurer and signed by the clerk and the mayor. You know, so I don't know how that works out with the direct deposit. You know, have you done any work into that area, Bernadine?
It's loud.
And
I think everybody does direct deposit nowadays, don't they? I mean, it's pretty standard. Paying our bills online, we're really fancy all the time.
We're catching up to the 21st century this time here.
Crazy.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
motion's made,
1 second.
seconded, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Closed session. Good job, that evaluation. This is the closed session portion of the show, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Motion to close the meeting, please.
Yeah, we got a motion closed.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made, seconded. Any further discussion?
So I can find out.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Yeah.
Did you want to do that? I was wondering if I could be around here, maybe I could get into the building, because I eventually want to do it.
I'll see if it isn't snowing, I'll probably do it Thursday. I'll be around both days, so.
That'd be great, because maybe I could get in the building to start doing
Here we are.
inventory.
Yeah.
You could probably help with that.